in this little lake up there. Got a bunch of bites on spinnerbait, just throwing spinnerbait around shallow wood. But the thing about these oxbows is they are connected by these channels that run out to the river. And you never know if you can get into these channels because they could be silted in. So what I did is, after I figured there was fish in this thing, I waded this entire channel from the lake part back to the entrance of the river. And it was about close to a mile that I had to wade. And this channel was only probably 15 to 20 foot wide, super, super narrow, a lot of turns in it. And there was a lot of little sandbars in there where it would be this deep. So guys, I waded that entire channel all the way from, the lake to the mouth of the river there. And I took sticks, and I put sticks to mark the shallow areas to stay away from them. So I ran just to make sure I could do it. I ran from the lake in practice out to the mouth of the river, and it was freaking harrowing, guys, because it was so narrow in there that if I would got stuck, there's no way I could have got out of there. I'd have probably had to hire a helicopter to get me out, but I made it in and out okay. So anyway, the first day of the tournament, I ran up there 130 miles one way. And I think the first day of the tournament, I believe I was in second or third place. Second day of the tournament got a little bit tougher. I think I dropped to 7th, and I wound up finishing in the top 10 in that tournament by, running, approximately 260 miles a day for the whole tournament with that. It's number 3. Number 2 was a Bassmaster Invitational at Lake Powell in Arizona. And this was back in the 90s again. I think it was the early 90s this was. The only tournament I ever fished at Lake Powell, which is absolutely a beautiful lake. And the only thing I knew about Lake Powell, and this was before you had any information, this was before the internet, this was before cell phones, this was before anything. And me and my buddy Danny Correa, we decided that we were going to run way up the lake to the end of the lake, because I'd actually read about some tournaments that they had down there back in the early 70s, or excuse me, the late 1970s. In fact, Gary Klein won his first Bassmaster tournament, I think in 1979, there at Lake Powell. So the only thing I knew about the lake is there were some fish way up the lake. So Danny and I got a wild hair, and we were going to run as far as we could. And there just so happened to be, there was a marina, 2 marinas on the lake, one about midway and one at the very upper end of the lake. So we ran to that mid-lake marina, got gas, and then ran all the way to the end of the lake up there and started catching some fish. We were catching fish, throwing a spinnerbait down shady banks, and we were also throwing a worm around some big shady boulders way up there. And we calculated it up that night on the Gazetteer.